What's up YouTube, Capital G here. So you know how players are always complaining that their old archetype has just been left in the dust. Maybe it's just been naturally power creeped and they can't play it anymore at a high level. Or, maybe it was a victim of Master Rule 4 and the Link mechanic as a whole. An archetype that used to be able to put a bunch of its extra deck monsters on the field. That was its win condition. It was kind of like an aggressive or a turbo deck. Now it can't do that and it doesn't have a Link monster, and there's no Link monsters that are appropriate for it to make and still be able to have the resources to make its play. Well, it looks like Konami is actually maybe doing something about that and giving players the opportunity to get a new support card for one of their favorite old archetypes. This is actually what you guys are looking at. This is a poll that Konami set up, and this is on the official Yu-Gi-Oh! Japanese website. Looks pretty official and whatnot, right? And I know you guys can't read Japanese, so you're probably like, what the heck does it say, Cap G? I'll basically paraphrase, right? So essentially, Konami put this poll up and they put about 10 archetypes on here, and they're asking players which archetype they want to see a brand new promo designed for and ultimately released for. And I think that this is a great idea. I'd actually like to see something like this happen in the TCG. I can't remember the last time Konami has ever done something like this, but I think that this is a fantastic idea that will get players excited about the opportunity of playing their old archetypes with a brand new card. And in the TCG, we really only get something. Well, the only thing that's comparable to this would probably be like the V-Jump voting with their polls. But you guys know when we vote on the V-Jump with the new promo, the subscription promo is going to be. All that is Konami, or no, excuse me, it's not Konami, it's actually the V-Jump. All that is Shonen basically revealing like 5 cards to us and saying, hey guys, which of these cards do you want for your subscription promo? And while that's a cool idea, it doesn't actually introduce anything brand new. There's no buzz around it. Well, I mean, there can be buzz, but it's not going to be the same because we're talking about them getting a brand new card in the OCG for some of these archetypes. And I have to say, while I haven't scrolled down and shown you guys the archetypes, some of these are all time popular. I'm talking about, like, if I made top 5 most popular archetypes, one of these archetypes would definitely be in there. And they actually picked a wide range of archetypes. I mean, you have BLS, which it's an old archetype from DM, but obviously it got rejuvenated from it got rejuvenated in Arc V. And you have one like Harpies, which is from DM. You have a couple of other archetypes, nothing from the Vrains era, which I definitely like because all the Vrains archetypes are fairly new. They can potentially get support right now, or they already got support. You have, decks like Dragunity from 5Ds and other ones like Firefist from Zexo. So I feel like Konami definitely picked some good archetypes, and I want to kind of go down and talk about these archetypes as a whole, talk about the potential of them winning, and really what a Link monster could do for these archetypes. Now, some of you guys might be like, oh, Cap G, why are you being so damn overzealous? Why does it have to be a Link monster? It could be a spell or a trap card. It could be a main deck monster. It could be whatever that archetype is based on, whatever their mechanic is. It could be a new synchro for side frame, something like that. And while that is a possibility, I will admit, I just feel like right now, in the Vrains era, I think that it makes the most sense if Konami knows that they're going to be giving an archetype a brand new card and it's just going to be one card. It's not going to be an overhaul of the archetype. Like, it's not going to be like what they did with BLS and Dimension of Chaos and for a couple of sets, or same thing goes with like Buster Blade. Or if they're only going to give you one card, I kind of feel like a Link monster should be the primary option. And the reason that I say that is I feel like Link monsters can answer 2 problems at one time, and you're not going to be able to get that from a main deck monster, a spell, or a trap card, right? Number one, as I said earlier, if you're playing an archetype like Cardians or Fluffles, My Lunalights, if you're playing an archetype, Karakuri is one that really suffers from this. An archetype that used to be able to summon 3-4 Synchros fusions at a time on the field, and that was your win condition. And now, because of Master Rule 4, you can't really do that anymore. A Link monster can at least open up some extra monster zones for you, and that's really good, and that can obviously be useful, especially if that monster facilitates you still being able to summon one of those extra deck cards. The Gem Knight Link monster, Phantom Quartz, is a prime example of this. You summon it and it opens up extra monster zones for you to be able to summon Lady Brilliant Diamond or Seraphronite or whatever, and it has an inherent fusion ability right built into the card. So obviously that's pretty good. The second reason I like a Link monster as kind of the primary go-to card for Konami is the fact that a Link monster can also fix any of the deficiencies your archetypes have. Like if your archetype needs to be able to get a monster from the deck, or if your archetype needs draw power, if your archetype needs a little bit of stun, if your archetype needs a really big beater, like a link monster can kind of wear all of those hats, and it can fix any problem that your archetype has in its monster effect. So it kind of fixes, or it's kind of like taking out two birds with one stone. And if Konami gives you a new trap card or a new spell, it's like, okay, that's cool, you might be able to fix one of those problems, but what about the other one? You know what I mean? The Gem Knight Link or Isode, those are cards that completely made those archetypes like viable again. Well, Noble Knights can only be so viable, but you get what I'm saying. Some Link monsters are so good, like they fix like a lot of the problems that archetypes have. That's why I feel like a Link monster should kind of be the primary, it should be the primary go-to option for Konami when it comes to whatever archetype that they decide on. So let's go ahead and break down some of these archetypes. Now, the first one up here is BLS, and I do think that Ritual Summoning and Link Summoning go together like water and oil, but Konami is at least experimenting with this, with the Nethys archetype, and hear me out, I think a BLS Link monster could actually work. It would have to be a very strange one, but here's my idea, right? Like, what if it was a Link 1 and it required a BLS Ritual monster to summon? That's a heavy investment, right? Because all the BLS Ritual monsters are level 8, but what if it was like a 3500 attack Trishula, essentially like Link monster? What if it was a Link 1, 3500 attack, it just pointed up towards your opponent, and when you summoned it, you got to banish a card from your opponent's hand, field, and graveyard? Like, that'd be pretty fucking awesome, and considering the BLS Ritual monster could banish a monster from your opponent's hand before you link with it, that could be pretty damn explosive. Harpies and Heroes, I think, are both interesting options. Harpies have cards like Hysteric Party. They also have, you know, Harpy Chandler to get monsters on board. I actually think that Heroes have a very good chance of winning the entire thing, simply because of the popularity. And I think, well, the Wonderlink Hero monster was, it's okay. It's not like fantastic. The biggest missed opportunity with that card is the fact that it doesn't have two downward pointing arrows. One of them points up towards your opponent. It's a serviceable card, but I think that Hero fans are wanting something a little more and a little better. So it wouldn't shock me at all if Heroes won, because I think they're by far the most popular archetype up here. Agents, I don't even know how agents will work. I mean, we see Venus used in like World Chalice, and that's cool. Venus can get you 4 monsters on field. It can become an instant firewall dragon, but no one really summons Earth or even plays it anymore. If you're going back to the old 5Ds agents, people only play like 3 cards that really hit the board: Venus, Earth, and Hyperion. And I don't know, maybe if they made it just require fairies instead of like agent monsters, that could work. Dragunity could work really easily, because Dragunity get 2 monsters off of a duck summon with Phalanx. The same thing with Vaja. You get the Phalanx off. Maybe it could be something like a Link 2 that summons a Synchro monster from your graveyard, or this would be cool if it summoned a Synchro monster from your extra deck and it ignored summoning conditions, but you had to like tribute a Dragunity monster on field, not itself. That would be actually pretty dope. Firefist, I think, have a legitimate chance of winning this as well, because Firefists are stupidly popular. I'm just not sure if they need a Link monster. 4 access Firefist don't really go into the extra deck all that much, even when they summon a Tiger King. Like, as long as they have Tiger King and like a Strike and a Lost Wind, they're pretty happy. They don't need a whole bunch of Xyzs anymore. 1 Xyz at a time is generally good. People don't play the 3.5 with Leopard and Spirit and Rooster and all that good stuff. They don't play that one as much, so I don't know if Firefists need one, but they still might win. The deck that could probably use it the most on here by far would be something like DDD. DDD, I've actually seen duels people have submitted to me where DDD can still get like 3 negates on board with Siegfried and Crystal Wing, and maybe they can go for like an Omega. That'd be pretty cool. If DDD did get a good Link monster, that would be amazing, because I feel like DDD is the one deck on here, well, maybe Heroes too, but if they get like a great Link monster, something like Isode or Cherubini or Phantom Quartz level, you could probably see them return to the meta. Plus, they kind of got shafted in the TCG, so maybe Konami wants to make up for that. Then the final ones are Speedroids, Phantom Knights, Speedroids, Soft Frames, and Magical Musketeers. Speedroids are another weird one. I think that you know, maybe if Terratop was at 3, it could work a lot better. But with only like double yo-yo, I believe double yo-yo is Blizzard for the deck, right? With only double yo-yo and Terratop is like the main ways of getting more monsters on the field instantly. And you know, Goki kind of killed any opportunity for Terratop to go up in up on the ban list. I'm just not sure if Speedroids need it. Like I remember a long time ago when I used to duel against Speedroids, they would just have like Chambara on field and like nothing else, or just like Clear Wing, Crystal Wing, and that's kind of all that they wanted. So I'm not sure if they need one. Side frames, a Link monster can't even work in this deck. There's so many things wrong with it. Like how would you, first off, how would you summon it? Second, like if it didn't banish itself, it wouldn't work at all. And if it did banish itself, the Link points would be completely like fucked up, because Link monsters are, unless, I don't know, maybe they point side to side and that's how they want it to be. Also, they don't really have the problem of needing extra monster zones open, because Omega and Zeta never stay in the extra monster zone for more than a turn anyways. They either die or they banish themselves, and then they're in the main monster zone and you just summon another Omega during your opponent's turn. So it's not really a problem with side frames. This is a deck where a Link monster just wouldn't work at all. And then the last one is Musketeers. Musketeers, I feel like people have just thrown up their hands and given up on the deck. I think that Musketeers should be a good deck, but it just isn't. It's like Magic Specters. Like, it should be a good deck on paper, but it just, for some reason, isn't. I do think maybe if it was incredible, it would have to be Isolde level. Like, when you summoned it, it would have to be a link to, when you summoned it, you got to add, you know, a Speller Trap from your deck, one of the magical Musketeer spells and traps. Maybe it could also special summon one from your graveyard to a link point. And I don't know, maybe by discarding a monster, a magical Musketeer monster, it could gain that much attack during your battle phase or during either player's battle. That would actually be pretty good. I think that, yeah, that maybe that could salvage the archetype if it had those 3 effects built into it. But you see how it'd have to have like 3 great effects to be like a good monster and maybe help the archetype out. Outside of that, I don't know if Musketeers are, you know, salvageable as an archetype, despite the fact that they should be good. Anyways, whatever you guys believe is going to win, leave it in the comment section below. Also, which one are you going to vote for, and what type of support would you like to see for these archetypes? I mean, again, I think links make the most sense, and I'm going to do something that you guys probably won't like, and I have it translated here on English. I'm going to vote for BLS. The reason I'm voting for BLS, people are like, why would you vote for BLS? It's not gonna be a link one. The reason that I'm voting for BLS is because I've always just liked BL. I don't have a deep affinity for any of these archetypes, no deep love or anything like that. There's no Boojins or Altergeist. There's no Sir Tellarknights up here. So I've always kind of just liked BLS. Like, I think it just looks cool. I think Super Soldier looks cool. It's the reason why I constantly upload BLS duels on my channel. Anyways, this video is too long. Whatever you guys think, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already, and turn on the notification bell for daily videos.